Yeah.
Oh, we live, Porterverse, Prada episode, whatever. It only gets better. Prada, what's up, man?
I can't call it Porter water. What's been up, man? I ain't seen you like 2 weeks.
Yeah, I love it. I've been doing your content in one day for 2 weeks. I'm about to make it so I only see you once a month.
Yeah, no, that'll be cool. That'll be cool.
Now you gonna miss me.
Hell yeah.
You gonna miss me.
Now you be doing your thing, man. But I ain't gonna lie, Instagram is playing games with the algorithm, so, you know, I ain't even too excited to do content like I used to be.
I know.
Like, you know what I mean? But we're gonna get through it though.
I got some tricks up my sleeve. We're gonna figure this out, man.
Yeah, for sure.
We're gonna figure this out.
For sure.
So you introduced me to somebody a couple weeks ago at your event, right?
Yep.
We got him in the building today. You want to introduce?
Yep. You know, I ain't always the best with titles because everybody wears so many hats. But I met this brother about like 2-3 months ago. Clicked it off, like, you know what I mean? He's a good dude. Felt his energy, felt his vibe, was loving what he was talking about. Because so many people in the industry talk about it, but they don't really practice it, and they don't really come with receipts. So I'm like, we definitely got to hook up. You know what I mean? So it's my guy Amyr, right? Amyr Laws on Instagram. And,
I am the law.
Yeah, man. He gets super active, man. He
What up?
with the hats of trust, right? Trust hat. Well, go ahead and let them know everything that you do.
Man, so I deal in trust, estates, suretyship. All this is under exclusive equity jurisprudence. So if you don't know what that is, that's God's law. They turn the Bible into law, basically. So we use the scripture and equity maxim to beat cases and handle all type of different situations.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be my biggest challenge of any podcast because I know you don't understand a goddamn word he just said. Because I almost
That's
did it.
always the hardest thing. Like people always ask me, like, man, what do you do? And I'm like, man, I don't want. I usually have to say I'm something like a lawyer.
Right.
I don't want people to think I'm a lawyer. I didn't go to law school. I don't have no bar card, license, none of that. However, we still shutting down cases though.
How many cases?
I've settled over 1,000 cases, and
Dang.
this year alone, I think we're probably, I had to check the books. I think we're probably somewhere maybe in like 60, 70
Damn.
as far as like cases that I'm responsible for shutting down.
Wow.
So like helping people and they, you know, people in the academy that I have and, you know, just all over really.
Solid.
I'm not going to lie. I was in the car. My mom was here for 10 days last week, and I was telling her about you. You know, and I was trying to act like I knew. I was in the car. I'm like, you don't understand. There's regular law and there's God law. You know what I mean? Like regular laws, you can't speed 35 miles per hour. The God's law, you know, ain't no speed limit. You know, God's speed. You know what I'm saying? Like I was trying to like, I didn't know what the hell I was talking about.
Nah, that's a good start though.
And I was.
That's a good start. That's a good start.
But I was, you know, I'm still confused. You know, I thought I knew what, to me, and what I heard. Some of our posts, some of other people's posts.
Right.
A trust is some type of finizzagoab, and you don't own it. You control it, and you put all your assets in it, and it protects you. And you know, I thought that was the basis of it. But then, like you were like, yo, if I inspect your trust and it ain't right, it's got to be an overlapping endoplasmic reticulum, quarter pound of cheese. And I didn't understand like. And I want to be down because I see the results of what you do.
Yeah.
But it's maybe to the average human brain that just never learned this whatsoever, which is 99.9% of everyone in our country, it's very hard to wrap your head around.
Got you.
So, like, how do we start from, like, A, B, C? Like, what is the easiest way to communicate? Can we start at trust? Is that the easiest place to start? Is that, like...
The easiest, so in terms of everything that I do and, you know, study, the easiest place to start and that you really have to start is understanding the separation between like you and what people call is like the straw man.
Yeah.
So that's
what's the straw man?
All right. So the straw man is really the credentials that you use. So like the license, the birth certificate, license, birth certificate, social security number, could be the driver's, like all that basically that's what makes up your person.
Okay.
So if you ever heard in the movies or if you Even in court, we just heard it. Yesterday or the other day when we was in court, he was rambling off to my guy, and he was like, "Yeah, having a gun on your person." It's like, normally
I hear that. That's how cops say it, on your person.
on your person,
Yeah.
So they
On
talk
your
about
person.
strawman. On your strawman,
Dang.
on your person that you're partially responsible for.
Wow, that's different. And I don't want to go too far off the ABC because we need to go back to that. But you just said something about the trust in having a possession of a gun on your person. I was just reading something about your license to carry. This is separate from license to carry, actually, because in Jersey we don't really have license to carry. Or do we now?
They're doing some. Yeah, yes, we do.
Okay, we do. All right. But before, you couldn't carry out here in Jersey. Right?
That's what I figured.
You couldn't carry. Nobody could carry,
in
bro.
New York either, right?
Right? Yeah, exactly. New York neither.
They're
But
not
that's
playing.
something new that they're starting now, right? But I was reading something about you could put your gun in your trust.
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
Never heard that. Never ever. So now, if the gun is in the trust, then who does it really belong to?
It belongs to the trust.
Now we working.
Exactly.
Now we thinking.
You
That's
can't- you can't
different.
say,
No,
I own
no,
a
no,
gun.
no.
I don't own nothing.
You know
I
what I
own
mean?
nothing. I'm broke, baby.
Let's go.
I don't want to go too far ahead. So your license, your social security number, that is the straw man.
Think about it. Every time you fill out some documents or do anything, what are you using?
You're using your
The name we were born with.
right. The name my mama
Is
gave
that
me.
the name you was born with? Is that the name?
That's what my mom named. That's what my
See,
mom named me.
That's where you have to start. You have to figure out the separation. So most people, they look at the birth certificate and they be like, "That's the name my mom named me."
Right.
But it looks like it. You know what I mean? Sounds like it. But on paper, that's not it. It's this doctrine called idem sinonis. I might be saying it wrong, but
He's from
ID
Harry Potter now. He's going crazy.
Yeah, idem sinonis.
Hit him,
So
Sonomis.
it's basically like all the names that say your name is misspelled or styled incorrectly, but they still say it's you. So it's like in the public, it's like everything that looks similar, looks the same, and all that, it is the same. But on the private side, in equity, it's like things that look similar are not the same.
It's got to be exact.
Exactly. It has to be what it is. Like it can't be no derivative or.
So Chris, capital CHRIS, can't be capital C, capital H, capital R, capital I.
That's two totally different entities.
Oh.
That's why when you look at your credentials, it's in all
Yeah,
capital
but
letters.
what does this mean?
It means you're civilly dead in the eyes of law.
What do you mean?
I mean, you have, let's say, like, really your rights under God. So typically people are like, I know my rights. I know my rights. You really don't know shit. But So substantive rights, your rights under God, how the Constitution is set up, basically you need an Article 3 judge, a real judge that is, how should I say, presiding over things, dealing with real people in real life situations. Right now, people go to court, they don't get real judges that are hearing situations that are being presided over with a God conscious, I should say. They're running under military law or man's law.
I feel like I'm Neo on day one.
Bro,
Like,
this it gets crazy.
Gets super
And
deep.
this
So
is,
I'm trying to keep it in.
it's hard.
in layman terms, but it gets super deep.
I was asking. My fault.
Now go ahead. Go ahead.
I was asking you too offline if you ever read this book, because this is how I got introduced to this whole entire world, this whole matrix world that nobody knows about, right?
as the thunder goes off. Go on.
It's right. It's called the 0% by Duval Day, right? I caught this book a few years ago, and I'm just read a quick description of it, and maybe you could put some of this in context for us, right? Because it's kind of sounding like what you're saying. Let me see here. Where's this thing at?
So in the meantime, god damn. So straw man is the version of you that was given to you through your social security, starting with your social security number and driver's license. And what is the opposite of the straw man?
So this is what happened.
Who am I?
So this is what happened. Your parents, they had you.
Yeah.
They named you Chris, right?
Yeah.
All right. So the government. So what happened is they tricked her on the paperwork.
Who?
The government basically tricked your parents on the paperwork.
Okay.
So at that point, it's kind of like they abandoned you on paper.
They gave me to someone else.
They gave you to the state. They gave you to the government on paper.
Because they don't know no better. They just gave you a sheet of paper and you signed on it.
Exactly. So it's like they gave you away to the government.
As a what?
As a baby, as property.
So I'm owned by the government right now.
If you believe you're the name on the birth certificate, because they created that name. So it's like your mom named you Chris, capital C, lowercase h, R-I-S. All right. So then they said, oh, we got this paperwork from her. Look, she abandoned Chris. But, okay, we're going to make capital C, capital H, capital R, capital I, capital S.
As to what benefit of them?
Exactly.
But what's the benefit?
Everything that you do, they're the owners. They own the property. They own that name. Imagine you come up with a trust, right? Everything that you do in the name of the trust is yours, is the trust, right? That you're controlling. So you're happy about that, right? All right. So imagine if somebody gave you a trust and you didn't know anything about it, but yet you're using it. You wouldn't be happy about that, right? Because it's not your trust. But yet you're using it like it is yours. Then one day you find out, dang, that ain't my trust, so what's up with all this property then if it's not my trust? Because you've been doing that. You've been doing business in that name. You see what I'm saying? So if I gave you a trust to use right now and do business in, everything that you do in the name of that trust
is yours.
Because I came up with it.
Is that really true?
Yes, that's true.
So can you give me an example of how
when
it's
the
not
IRS
mine?
comes seize your shit, anytime anybody
That's
comes
true.
to
How
get
could
your
they-
shit,
yeah,
They
that's
just
the
took
reason.
your shit, bro.
Yeah, I guess you're
They
saying
come in
Your
and
house
take
paid
it.
off. Hold on, your house paid off, but you still paying the IRS. Why?
So you mean to tell me I don't have to pay state taxes?
If you don't know what you're doing, which typically most people don't. But that's what I'm saying. Like, if your house is paid off, right, but you're still paying taxes, then do you truly own it? And do you feel like you truly own it?
So when you pay tax on your house, even when you own it, you're paying tax on the land or the actual house? I really don't know.
So,
Like when you pay tax, is it the land?
you're gonna be paying taxes. You're gonna be paying taxes on both. You're gonna be paying taxes on both. I'm pretty sure. And so that's forever.
Yeah, you're paying that to the state.
And you're paying into the state. Why? So everyone pitches in.
That's what I'm saying. Why?
Because everyone, I'm just giving my own. Everyone pitches in so that things in your town and state can function and people get paid, right? How the police get paid from the taxes?
That's what they tell you. And that's what they tell you. And I'm not going to sit up here and say perhaps a certain percentage don't go to that. I'm not going to sit up here and say that, especially right now. There would have been a time where I would have told you, nah, and we can follow the trail, but that's a whole nother conversation. But that's what they tell you, you know what I mean? But if I own something, who are you to tell me what to do with it?
I mean, I don't know. Then again, it's each city, right? So back to that house. I'm in West Orange. Taxes is high as hell. Property tax is high as hell in West Orange. Now, I was also told each city is also some sort of trust. Is that also true? Okay, so at that point, how is the city? I need a little breakdown in how the trust works for the city, and it also can work for the individual under the government. Because back to Chris's idea, right, or Chris's situation, Chris, the name that he was born with, is the natural person. That's him. That's the flesh and blood. That's this guy. Before the paperwork is even delivered, he's Chris. His mom named him Chris. We know him as Chris. It doesn't matter. Wherever he goes, that's what they call him. Now, when you start bringing the paperwork into the whole equation, that's when things start getting tricky, right? So once they stamp that birth certificate, now you're saying the birth certificate, the name put on that birth certificate is a trust created by the government.
Yes.
Okay, we getting somewhere, right? That's created by the government. And anything he does with that name created by the government that matches the same name that his mother gave him is all under the trust and all belongs to the government.
Wait, it's created by the government or created by your mom or dad?
The name was given by your mom, but on paper, they matched it from what your mom said and now created a trust simultaneously.
What words on paper say that the government owns me? Like, what are the words? What is it? Are you talking about the birth certificate? Are we talking about
proof?
The social security number?
That's all proof. That's a derivative.
But what are the words? Like, if we do a trust, which I've never even seen a trust, so I know zero.
Well, you're
right?
not privy to that.
Yeah, but it's still a contract. A trust is a contract, right?
Yeah.
So there should be words that New Jersey, blah, 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 government owns Chris Porter.
All right. So when you write your name at the top of a paper, you do that because it's your paper. When you look at your birth certificate, it got New Jersey at the top and it got a seal on it. That's proof. That's proof. But what you want to see is the trust paperwork, right?
Yeah.
You're not privy to that. Because they're treating you as like a third party to the trust. You want to be seen as a beneficiary.
Who owns the trust?
The government created the trust for their benefit. But you should be seen in it. So on the private side, you want to be seen as the beneficiary of that trust. But in the public, you're seen as the trustee, as like a fake trustee of that trust.
A fake trustee?
Yeah, like a fake trustee of that trust. Trying to keep it in layman's terms, like a fake trustee. You know, the trustee is always liable.
Right.
If the trustee is liable, it doesn't perform.
Okay, so how does the government benefit off of you owning a trust that who am I then? I'm so lost.
Government property, unless you know.
But how do they benefit?
In everything that you do. So, all right. So when it comes to this is the perfect way to tell you how they benefit. All right. So let's say you go out and get a car. Let's say you go out and get a house, any of that. You sign in paperwork. Those are securities. Mm-hmm. Now, most people don't know that securities has value. So if you sign a contract for financing for $50,000, it's like you just gave them $50,000 in cash, but you don't know that. So then, on the private side, they're taking your asset and they're selling it. They're doing business with it. Everybody's making money off that, and that trickles up all the way up to Wall Street, which is a trust. And then, all those politicians, that's all the government. On the back door, they all getting money. They all doing business like that. That's how they eat off of us. Think about it. Anytime the country get bailed out, who bails out the country? The people do. How? The securities. All that money is held in reserve. What? And wrapped in insurance just in case a beneficiary show back up and makes a claim. Oh, but that's hella deep on the back end. We don't even really be putting stuff out there like that.
Right. Okay.
Let's bring it back home. Let's home. All right.
Wait. I'm trying to bring this down to earth so people can understand They understand it's a matrix right now. They're listening, but they're confused on how it relates to them in the real day-to-day thing. You're saying every human that's ever born in the United States, unless they separate themselves from their social security number and stuff like that, which they can, are
property.
You're
acting as property.
Acting as property of the government because when you were born, you were signed into a trust.
Yeah. To keep it in layman terms, yeah.
But isn't the definition of like, if you're human and you're property, isn't that a slave?
Pretty much. That's why people say
bingo,
we're slaves. So
bingo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my darling. Oh.
so
it gets hella deep, man.
So wait, so what am I supposed to do? Am I losing?
You losing until you start to make the separation.
But tell me how I'm losing, or how we're losing.
Because, well, I don't, I'm no expert, but I can only imagine we're losing because we're operating under their guidelines, right? So anytime we step out of bounds, we get charged for it. You speed, like you mentioned earlier, you speeding in that car, you get a ticket. You got to pay them, right? You're not doing what you're supposed to do with your kids. They come and grab up your kids, and now you got to go through all of that headache. Man. That's where you get hit, right? Yeah. And that's the beginning. You got to pay taxes on everything that you buy.
Tax on tax on tax on tax.
That's how we're losing. So I don't know if, once you separate yourself from that, then all of those stuff disappear. But I can tell you while you're in it, that's how you lose.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So I wouldn't say it disappeared. You'll have people that tell you that.
Right.
I just don't like to give people false hope or anything like that. But think in terms of you can actually settle and close these matters. Like, you just can do better business and handle these matters. You know what I mean?
What matters?
Like as far as like taxes, you know what I mean, and being able to protect your equity in all situations. Like I said, you go and sign for a car loan for $50,000. You think that you're getting a loan for $50,000, and not saying you're not, but what they did is imagine. Just imagine I give you some gold, right? And then it gets converted to public money, which would be the dollar bills that we use, right? Then you give it back to me. But that derived from the gold that I gave you. You see what I'm saying? I'm giving you, I'm keeping it even more simple. It's like I'm giving you money and you giving me the same money right back and telling me it's a loan.
No, they're giving me a vehicle I could drive around, and I'm giving them a promissory note saying that I'm going to pay them
the
money.
The promissory note is money. It has actual cash value.
How?
It has your signature.
The signature. I know that one.
Yeah.
And I seen Ali post that the other day.
I don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't.
You're the source.
You give me a car.
You're the value. You're the source.
Who?
You. Don't nothing move without you. Don't nothing move without you. You the source.
Right now you sound like Yoda, and I like Yoda.
You're the source. You're the source.
But I'm just trying to understand. You give me a vehicle, and the windows, the wheels, and everything costs money, and together it's $50,000. You're giving me this $50,000 product, and I'm giving you $3,000 and saying I owe you $47,000 plus interest.
Nah. So
how is the paper that says that worth the equivalent amount of the vehicle?
Your signature. So the signature is the value. It's like your signature is worth gold.
I hear you. I don't understand. Do you understand?
Let me see how to
listen. I mean,
I'll be giggling over here. You don't understand too.
All right, let me see how else I can put it to you.
I'd be over there like,
it's all on you. Shit on you, cuz. You in the seat today.
Let me see how else I can put it. All right. So you are a child of God. God, we can all agree God is the source, right?
Thunder and everything's just perfect.
Right on time.
Right on time. We can all agree God is the source of all things, right? And you're a child of God. So paper, that is just paper. It's not breathing. It's not living. It can't talk to you.
Yeah, the paper can't.
Right.
The car can take you places. That's why I need it. That's why I
Okay,
go for
but
it.
you have to get in the car for it to go. You see, are you starting to see what I'm saying? Nothing happens without you operating.
I understand this. I just don't understand. I don't understand how. What are you saying?
This is the illest I've ever been on.
Your signature is worth gold.
That's it, bro. Just leave it
It's
there,
gold.
bro.
Yeah, but I'm trying to put this so it's understandable to normal people.
That's how the system operates.
Right, but we're not saying. But explain to me. Just the car comes to me. I want to take a loan out.
You are focusing on that. You have to, before you even get to that, you got to understand the beginning. You already tricked if you're thinking about the car. That's the problem. You already tricked if you're thinking about the car.
Why?
Because you just gave them $50,000.
I gave them $50,000.
Yes.
How did I give them
Imagine.
$50,000?
So, all right. Let me see if I can put it a different way. So, if you had $50,000 in actual cash, like you counted out $50,000.
Wait. Are you saying? Wait, let me tell you. Are you saying that they don't have the money in the first place, and the money,
Yes.
and the money comes from us,
Yes.
because they're a bank, and the bank doesn't have money.
Yes.
The bank borrows the money from us. So if I go to the bank and ask them, "Hey, I need $50,000," they're giving our money to me and asking me to give it back to them.
They're converting your money
To
public money. So you give
So
them
there's public and
it's
private
like
money?
this. Yeah. So it's like you're giving them private money. They convert it as a bank because that's what banks do, and then they give it back to you as a loan.
how do you differentiate private and public money? Like, is that on paper or something?
So private credit is typically securities, bonds, and stuff like that. That's private credit. That's specialized credit from a surety.
Okay, you said that word. I've heard it 30 times
It's
since I
private
met
credit.
you, and I still know what a surety is.
Surety, that's perfect, bro. All right, so again, the name on the paper, the birth certificate. All right, so we understand that's not you at this point, right? The name on the birth certificate.
You got that much.
You got that part, right?
Come on,
You
Chris.
got that.
Yes, it's literally not me.
Exactly. All right, so boom, you got that. All right. So
Nah,
now,
he doesn't like it.
I know you don't like it, but it's real. So that's not you. Now, again, everything that you do, when you go pay for utilities, right? When you go sign up for utilities, you're using that all cap name and the social security numbers, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, if you don't pay your light bill, what's happening? If you don't pay that light bill, what happens?
Lights go out. They turn it off,
All right.
I think.
So that's how you know that you're a surety for that name. Because if you don't perform, then you have no lights. Even though you're doing business in that all cap name.
Can I ask a question? You could maybe insert it in here.
Yeah, what's the question?
Kind of like a
There's a question coming in.
When you sign over, when your birth certificate is given and you sign over, isn't that like a credit? There's a value now applied to your person, to your name, like a value.
Yeah.
So you're worth like the gold. You're worth all that money.
Yeah.
When you're buying the car, you're exchanging your value to them for that. That's what you're talking about, the transition. So you already are endowed with a whole ton of money and value. You're like purchased.
That's a fact.
Can you repeat that? That's a fact.
There you go.
All right, so
That's
so
layman's terms.
so
That's real layman's terms right there, Shell.
so Michelle was saying, tell me when I'm wrong. She's saying when you're born and you sign that piece of paper, or your mom signs that piece of paper, and which is the birth certificate and the Social Security. Is that the same thing or they're different? I'm really getting burnt now.
The birth certificate. Yeah. So the birth certificate comes first.
It comes first, right? Yeah. So what in the hell? I'm worth gold and value because this don't make sense to me. So what value are you talking about?
You're a child of God.
Okay, but aren't we all children of God?
Yes, which is why they treat us all like this. They all want your soul, your energy.
No, but she made a great
value,
point.
yeah.
In layman's terms, and go ahead, finish it off, Chris. You were born to the trust, to the government, as soon as they assign that name to you. But that name has value because why? They were trading on that birth certificate since you were born. Remember, bro just told you, once that signature was put on it, once that name was put on it, once that seal was put on it, he took that document, that stock, that bond, that security, and went and traded on it. You understand
Brand
that?
new on day
you
one.
understand that?
When you're a baby?
Once you're a baby, as soon as you came out, they put that paper together. Because listen,
Cool.
the day you were born and the
Government.
day that you got that certificate is not the same all the time. It's whenever they came through with that paperwork. You can ask your mom today. You probably didn't have a birth certificate the same day you were born. That came later.
Who does this?
The state where you're at, the state government.
And what is the benefit for them? Money, right? Has to
Money,
be.
ownership. Okay, the reason why they're able to actually lock us up because they own us. All right, we're attached to the name that they gave us on paper.
It's your person. You think you have a person.
When
but you
did
think
this
you
start?
Are the person.
Because I'm sure in ancient Rome, when they wanted to lock your ass up, they didn't know what a surety was. It's put you in the back of a goddamn
surety is ancient.
wagon.
I don't know,
Suretyship
bro.
is ancient. Suretyship is ancient. But
It's
suretyship is ancient. You know what I mean? But,
ancient. Okay.
Yeah, but in terms of man. All right, so the same way how you started out, right? If you speeding in the car, right, you can get stopped and you basically committed a violation.
Right.
You get charged. However, did you commit a crime?
Was speeding against the law?
Now we getting into the thick of it. What law? Whose law?
The law of the people of roads that you're driving on.
Who came up with those laws?
The
These
people.
are the questions that you have. These are the questions that you got to ask yourself.
Who came up with the law?
Who? Yeah, like what
the
authority
government.
did these came from?
The government that in which we hire. So we.
So typically, that's how most people think. Like, oh, okay, this is I was speeding, so it's against the law, and these laws came from the state. But which state? Because you have to understand the bigger picture. It's almost like a shell of the real. Like you can speed and you broke a violation. You know what I mean? However, you didn't commit a crime. So the law is about you committing a crime.
It's a speeding violation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Violation
Commercial
and crime. Right. That's really the best way to put it, like a commercial crime.
Yeah.
And really,
because the only real crime in life is like murder, right?
it has to be an injured party. So you have to, somebody's property has to be damaged or you like physically harm
so a
somebody
parking ticket,
or
all this
somebody
other
is, like legally without, it's got to be something like that.
For
right.
sure.
You said something that I repeated because sometimes when I learn something new, I go overboard a little bit and pretend I know it, even though I know it. So again, I was in the car with my mom and I was like, yeah, he was saying you walk into the court and be like, I want to be a national citizen, and the judge like, shh, and clears the court just for you. And then the lights go down. There's only one light over you, and then you're like, I can't walk through the river or the path of the judge. I didn't know how it brought, but you could walk in the court, and you can separate yourself from the entity of your social security number and your birth certificate.
Yes. I'm the implied surety on behalf of the defendant who's the principal debtor. And show him the birth certificate. Woo! This is the defendant.
Bro.
Okay.
I just gave y'all a real good gem right
let's
there.
step back, bro.
Hope y'all paying attention.
Let's step back, bro. let's humanize it before we go that deep. This because I've heard some other things. You know, I've been studying this stuff. I just don't speak on it because I'm not an expert, right? I'm an expert in what I do. I'm a student of what I do, but this is still like it's new territory. But I have heard, right, especially when it comes to like child support and things like that. If I put my child under my trust, then the state can't come and pick up my child when they want. You actually can't even put me on child support if you wanted to.
Yeah, but can you put another human under a trust without the other human who has...
Oh, wait. Hold on, Chris. Who put you under a trust without you knowing or you consenting to it?
Government.
Okay. So this is your property, quote unquote, the kid that you just gave birth to. Why the hell can't you put them under a trust?
What does it have to be the mom too?
What you mean? It's the so. All right, so no, that's a good question though. So
like whoever gets there first, like participation, trust.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, because you gotta understand, like we doing this in the best interest of the children. So you know, if y'all not on the same page, like, all right, like if me and my wife wasn't on the same page, like I'm gonna do what's best for my child. You know what I mean? Period. At the end of the day, and of course she is on her end, but when it comes to the law, it's like I know what's best for my child when it comes to the law. So regardless of what anybody thinks, I'm going to protect my child in the best interest. So, Mom, you can think what you want to think, but
convince me. I'm the mom right now. I identify as mom right now.
I'm not gonna be dad. I'm sorry, bro. Love you to death,
yo. Because I'm hearing this stuff. You're telling me the benefits of separating yourself. It's just more monetary gain. Like, what's the real thing? I don't pay. Say something big that's gonna make them be like,
freedom.
Wow.
What control over your life?
In what way? Don't make it vague. Assets. Do not make it vague.
Specifically, let's go back to the child situation. If they control the child, they have all the rights over the child. They make them take the
keep it even more.
Vaccine.
Keep it even more simple.
Say Maxine.
We can even keep it more simple. So when CPS is at your door or DFS is at your door.
See, you guys are troubled men because I don't know what the hell those things are.
Child Protective.
Child Protective Services.
Yeah, all these three letters. Like.
When they at your door, or you know somebody's at your door just trying to seize your assets, seize your kids, like what you gonna do?
So what? So
you can look on social media all day long.
What do you
see? Plenty of people getting their kids taken away from them
all the time.
So what do you do when you are? Is it a natural citizen? What's the term when you're not?
Private American. You need to be a private American national, private citizen. When you say private citizen, you're referring to a time where citizens were already automatically implied as being private, which will be before 1933, the Emergency Banking Act.
That's when the whole U.S. went bankrupt.
So, not bankrupt.
Okay.
But it's like a form of bankruptcy. It's kind of ironic because they went into a receivership, it's kind of like to prevent bankruptcy, but it still falls under bankruptcy. It's kind of weird, but yeah. But technically, when people say went bankrupt, that's incorrect. But out there on the internet, they're gonna tell you that all day long. But yeah.
So okay, I'm just trying to get clear because I'm not clear on it.
All right,
freedom.
Back up. So we was at the
air,
so the children,
freedom,
H2O.
Life.
Yeah. I need to know the exact.
No, that's what I'm saying. So I mean, just as simple as your children being taken away from you. Like, what do you do in that situation? If anything, that's worth knowing your rights and you know what I mean, like studying.
Okay. One, you go to court. We won't go through the process. Don't have the time, but you go to court and you separate yourself from your birth certificate. Now, who are you?
You're a private American, God's child. That's who you are.
Do you still have a birth certificate?
So, all right. So let me give you the whole rundown. So this is what you should be doing when you actually have a newborn baby to start protecting your assets, get them basically in line, you know what I mean? And make sure CPS can't come and get your child, none of that, right? So you need to create an equitable estate and a trust, and you need to have a Bible record. Like, you can buy a Bible on Amazon for like $25. They're gonna have spaces for you to write your damn whole family tree in there. Yeah, that's divine law. You can actually, we got a couple of testimonies or whatever, but they basically took the Bible and put it on the record. That's divine law. That's their authority. My authority comes from God.
What if I'm Jewish?
So, I mean, that's a good question. So at the end of the day, people ask like, all right, so can I use my own, religious book, for lack of better words? So I would say you probably can. However, I don't have the experience using any other religious text, you know what I mean? So I can't really speak on it like that, but I know the Bible has been used for this.
I'm going back to your big question. Who made those laws? Who said that, right? Can't you say that for anything?
What you mean?
The biblical text. Who made that?
Who made that? So I can't go on. I can't speak about who made that, but I can just tell you it's been used. Like, even so, King James used the Bible to basically slaughter people, like to beat down court cases and all situations. You know what I mean? Like, that's what he was using, is the Bible. So that's just proof right there that you can use that to attack situations and handle situations.
Is Obama no is Obama, Trump, the guys in Congress, the men and women on Congress, are they natural Americans? I don't know if I'm saying that word
like
right.
Private Americans.
Private Americans.
So they're not
They would have to
acting
be
in that capacity.
So if Obama is not what?
Obama is the ops, man.
All right.
That's perfect.
But I mean, they really are the ops. You know, keep it real. I ain't trying to.
That's amazing.
I ain't trying to pull for none of them.
This might be the podcast that does it.
Yeah, I'm not trying to pull for none of them. They are the ops.
No,
but,
I'm just saying, what I'm trying
to.
to say is the people who have the most power, and I'm sure it's not them, right? The people who have the most power, if they obviously know what you know and move in that way, they have to be private citizens. They have to be using their own magic.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. And because
that's how they take advantage. That's how they take advantage, sir.
So if you separate yourself, is that on record that you're separate?
Yeah, I literally have a record saying that I'm not the all cap name.
So we can go find famous people.
Door.
Right. So we can find famous people and Congress people and see that they're separate.
If they have the knowledge, yeah, right.
So
but why wouldn't
it's probably not going to be in the same in the same way
So
that
it's classified.
I have a record. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you're not going to be able to.
Like the big names is classified.
It's their system.
Right.
They operate the system.
Is this an American thing or an Earth thing?
That's like an Earth thing. It just looks different in different countries, but yeah. Not to say it's in every single country, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's like, it ain't just an American thing. No.
So this whole thing is really about protection.
I mean, yeah, asset protection, like protecting your equity.
And if I go into the court and I'm separate, I get separated from the straw man. It should be a movie title of a horror film.
Hey. We're going to come out with a movie here soon. We're going to do a movie here soon.
Now, what are the cons?
The cons?
Because the only thing I ever seen was guys with dreads get pulled over and start shooting at cops with machine guns after they say they don't have a license. That's the only thing I've ever seen on YouTube.
This is
But
bad.
I'm a natural citizen. I got my paperwork, blah, 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 and all of a sudden, that's the only thing I've ever seen. Like, how is this working in real life?
That's how they try to make it seem, though. Like they rebellious and, they just don't live the natural life we live.
Well, I will say that They are belligerent.
Mm.
They are belligerent. We just got to keep it all the way real. Because you see how I'm talking about doing business.
Right.
Settling, closing matters, being able to do better business. Right. As businessmen, we shouldn't be getting belligerent. We here to handle business. Like, yeah, it might get a little tense, you feel me? And that's good for business. You know what I mean?
Right.
But you got to remain respectful and keep your composure, and you just tense business.
Because I guess
tense big business.
Right.
That's the mindset that you have to have. Because it's like, you might not know it, but if you going at it the way I'm going at it, like, you are doing extremely big business because you're dealing with securities. And like I said, on the face value, it could be a few $1,000s, but on the back end, the securities could be worth a lot. We'll just say that. We'll just say that. I don't want people thinking I'm crazy, but it's a lot. And if they know how the banking system works, then they are already thinking times 10. But it's
fractional reserve banking. I know that much.
It's bananas. So
do I have to pay taxes or not?
Yeah, you gotta pay taxes until you understand what you're doing.
How about this?
And even how to settle.
How about this?
Matters.
I've been saying the IRS should not be able to arrest anybody for not paying taxes. Can I stand on that? Because when I was saying it, I was just telling them I'm not paying taxes, right? I'm not paying taxes for certain things, right? I'm going to write off just about everything or whatever the case may be. But when I really get to the nitty gritty of it, I feel as though we shouldn't go to jail for not paying taxes. So going by what you're saying, is that something we can stand on? Like, if we don't pay taxes, we don't get locked up?
If you're a private American, yeah, you can stand on that. But if you ain't no private American, I wouldn't stand on that.
Because you're playing by their rules.
Exactly.
Right.
Like, as a private American, you're going to learn how to settle and close matters, and you're going to understand jurisdiction. So it's like, all right, even if you ain't settling and close matters and they still trying to come at you, it's like, you don't really have a jurisdiction. So I can stand on that, you know what I mean? But yeah, shit just don't disappear when you realize that you're a private American and have record. You still gonna run into situations, you know what I mean? Because that's just the world we live in, the nature that we live in.
All right. So what you would tell the people to do? Like, for 99% of all viewers that's watching right now, and they have no clue where to start, what to do, how to get active, what could you tell them?
Well, let me just add to that. Who needs to separate themselves?
Two good questions. So, everybody needs to separate themselves.
The 99% of viewers.
I'm just saying,
everybody.
It sounds really scary.
Yeah, it can be. So let's touch on that. So you get on YouTube and you see a lot of people, in court or in the cars getting pulled out the car, window broken, getting taken.
Yeah.
All that shit is real in the field.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, when you start speaking through the little crack, I'm American, get your ass out the car.
Yeah.
See, the problem is that I feel like people are just jumping off the bridge and they're not taking the time to truly understand, comprehend, this knowledge. I've never had any of those things happen to me. Have I? Like, I've run into situations, but not because I'm expressing myself in that matter. It's just because I got caught with some weed before they decriminalized it. You know what I mean? Like, stuff like that. Like, I have a case about that, but not like,
that's just an interaction, yeah.
Do you operate under the license?
So I have a license, but I'm not showing my license, no.
Jesus Christ.
Well, actually, I'm sorry. I don't have a driver's license. I have identification.
Okay.
So
I'm still not showing.
So you don't have a license to drive?
No, I don't drive. I travel. And so that's what people would like to say to the cops. I don't recommend people say that.
Travel, bro.
I don't have sex. I fornicate.
But that get the matter though. That's the wordplay. That's how they jam you up. That's how they jam you up.
I travel,
bro. That's what it is, bro.
Were you driving last night?
I wouldn't recommend you saying that to the police though. the way I handle police is, I understand you got a job to do. You know what I mean? All right, you bound by certain authority and rules. I am too. You know what I mean? So you do what you do, and I'm going to do what I got to do on my end. No, I don't want a ticket, but if you got to give me a ticket because that's what you do, then okay. So I'll take the ticket, and I'll do what I got to do on my end to settle and close the matter.
Which you would have to do anyway, even if you were a citizen. You're still going to have to go to court, so why not go with wielding more power?
Exactly.
So when they pull you over and they ask you to produce some identification, you don't produce, or you produce the identification?
No, he don't.
I'm going to produce my record, my court record, that says I'm not the all cap name.
What's that have to do with him? If he pulls you over,
because that's who he's looking for. He's trying to make an attachment.
He's pulling you over because you were speeding. You show me identification. you show me identification.
Speeding. Right, but so he works for a government entity, and in that capacity, he can only truly charge your person.
Remember your person.
But you don't have a person no more.
No, I still have a person.
You don't have a person.
No, I still have a
person.
No,
you separated yourself from the person.
I separated myself, but I still have a person.
So when he pulls up to you,
can
that
only
person.
operate in this world with a person, bro. That's what the whole straw man theory is.
This whole entire government is an entity we're operating
He
under.
separated himself from the government entity.
Yeah.
When they pull him over, they're pulling him over. They're not pulling the entity over. They're asking
We're both getting pulled over.
Who?
Me and my person.
You divorced your person.
Yeah, but he's still attached to me because that's the only thing that they can't see. They cannot deal with a. They can't deal with a living being. They can only deal with entities. Remember, I told you it's like a shell on top of.
Only entities do business with entities.
Yeah,
you understand?
Exactly. So it's kind of
it's
really good. So they separate yourself. You got world and the earth, bro. The earth is you got the world and then you got the earth. The earth is natural. It's all natural shit. All natural. The world is a shell of the earth. It's created by man.
That.
The earth is God's creation. The world is man's creation.
Preach, brother.
It's like the Matrix. You enter into the world matrix. All those people can only deal with your matrix person. You can only, but you operate that person.
I'm still in the machine.
You gotta detach, bro.
Okay.
You're in the matrix, Neo.
I didn't take the pill yet. Well, for me.
And so that part that's the hard part is you have to start there and wrap your mind around the separation, lift the veil from over your eyes.
So they pull you over and you show them identification of who you truly are. And then what do they do?
So, well, I haven't been put over since I got my record.
They can't ticket that person?
So they might try to, right? They might try to, but you can challenge the jurisdiction.
So I don't have to abide by 98% of the laws?
I don't like saying that to people.
No. That's what you're saying?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
So
you have to understand
again, what is the benefit?
How to settle and close matters. I don't like when people say that because then that's when people jump off the bridge and be like, I'm above the law. No, you're not above the law.
But you're separate from it.
With the law.
Yeah. You're separate from it.
You have to understand man's law and God's law.
Right, but it seems like God's law has 16 things and man's have 600,000 things.
Yeah, it is.
So
like
98% of the time.
It is like that. It is. It's exactly why I chose to study God's law too. So instead of a million statutes and codes.
This is my problem. I guess I'm adding this problem that doesn't exist here. This is really about protection.
Yes.
And in my head, I'm trying to find a way to get up on it.
You're trying to get money,
bro.
Yeah. So he's like, what's the benefit?
I'm like, how am I gonna get rich?
And so, yeah, you just, I mean, like, man, I get it. And so
it's been 40 years. Cops shake my hand. I kept it going. I ain't worried about them.
So, yeah.
Taxes?
So, I mean, depending on what type of bag you want to get to, you know what I mean? It's really because you can do it. You can bust plays where it's like how we was discussing. You was like, man, you know, what can we do with the houses? Can we get the houses and then discharge the mortgage and stuff? It's like you can do stuff like that with cars and houses and stuff like that.
Discharge the mortgage?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
That means you basically settle the amount you owe, allegedly. So it's paid off. For layman terms, you don't owe no more.
You want another hour? is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, no more.
Because this is a whole.
So we're
lot
saying
of
the same.
sauce.
We're saying the same thing like the car.
Yeah.
So like people like but to me, like, I don't focus on that because that's what consumers do in that space. That's a bag. You feel me? That's the little bag though, and not trying to downplay none of them. You know what I mean? Because they do great work. But like I said, we're dealing with the securities. The securities, that's the big bag. Because you got to think, if you buy a house, let's say you buy $1 million house, right? So like I said, you using signed paperwork for $1 million. It's like you gave them actual cash for $1 million. So now they didn't traded that. They didn't traded that 10 times. Every time that moves to a different person, it's another million, another million, another million, another million. So now in equity, if you make a claim on all that, because all that is done incorrectly, all that is basically taking advantage of you. It's unfair. And equity is about things being fair.
And you come in and you say?
You're making a claim on that. And so then all that money is owed to you. So 10 million.
See, now we talking about
10 million versus, you know what I mean? 10 million versus you go in the court and say, you know, on the consumer side, they might say, I mean, it's just different scenarios. Like in the consumer law, like they get a check for violations. You know what I mean? That's cool. You might 8, 10 bands, whatever. That's cool. But we want full accounting. The full accounting for the millions that's been traded.
So when you request that inventory, that discovery of the millions being traded, do they put up a fight to show that?
Oh yeah, because you
I
gotta
can
think,
imagine.
Yeah, you gotta think. Hold on.
Yeah. Like, first of all, how you even know about this?
Exactly.
And if we do release this, then others could come up and start making these same claims and requests like you just did.
Yeah, but you really gotta know your shit because they're not gonna let a windfall happen.
Right.
Because it's like crashing the system.
Right.
Nobody wants to be in a third world country.
Right.
Because that would happen. Wow.
Yeah, and you gotta think people don't even know how to handle their own affairs. People don't know how to hunt for food, and I ain't gonna act like I know how to hunt for food. I'm gonna figure it out because that's just what we do. But Americans not set up for that. You know what I mean? Like
you better hunt for humans because ain't no food out there to be hunting. Yo, so listen, this was a lot, but this was great. I kind of got my head wrapped around the first 17% of it. We definitely got to have a part 2. Because this is different. Yeah. They're gonna wanna hear you and come back.
Absolutely.
This is different.
I got so many more questions.
Oh my God.
Jeez.
Our time is up for this one.
It's a journey. It's a journey, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna figure out how to get out the matrix. We gotta add some matrix.
The first step is to get in his academy.
Yeah.
Tell him about that.
So all right. So I have so it took me 3 years basically to come up with this. We have Matisse Academy, named after my daughter. We basically teach you all about your substantive rights under God, under Article 3 of the Constitution. And so that's how I'm able to help a lot of people with all types of different court cases, make sure that their newborn babies is protected. Only thing I really don't touch on is anything with murder, gang activity, or anything sexual. Outside of that, you name it, we pretty much got resources to deal with it and for you to learn. I'm big on learning and not just processes because then you're a slave to a process once you understand principles of exclusive equity jurisprudence. So MatisseAcademy.com. Matisse Academy is where everything's located. And follow me on Instagram, Amyr_law, AMYR_law, LAW.
Man, sound good to me.
Yeah, man.
More knowledge, more power. Prada, you want to take us home today?
Look, as you can see, being busy doesn't always mean being productive, right? A lot of y'all be doing a lot, but y'all ain't making no moves. This man is making moves. Notice the difference between being busy and being productive. Let's get active.
Let's get active.
Let's get active.